Welcome to Manga Machinations! This is episode number 505, and this week we're doing a triple dip. I'm Doc Zoo, and with me is Star Fox 8.
Hello, everybody.
Morgana Santilli.
Hi there.
And Seamus2389.
Hello.
Seamus, you are here.
I'm back for my guest appearance.
Gotta bump up your percentage. Keep it above 80.
What's it? Is it? I don't know. Isn't there like a US TV thing? It's like reoccurring or ultra starring. Like you're not in every episode, but you're more than like a once off.
Yeah, recurring is like, yeah, you appear in multiple episodes, but you don't have to be the majority or even close to it.
Is that what makes the difference? Like the top cast is always in every episode?
Practically.
What is Seamus's equivalent then? It's an easy one to do this with. Sitcoms, maybe?
I feel brain dead. I can't think of a single example.
It needs to be someone who's very popular.
And very elusive.
Like when you get the Seamus episode, you're like, hot damn.
It's Kramer from Seinfeld. I'm sorry to compare you to Kramer from Seinfeld, but
Isn't Kramer a main cast?
I was going to say I've also no idea who like that person is.
It's not a great option.
It's really bad.
Well,
I mean, Seinfeld altogether is not a great option.
Yeah,
also true.
The character himself is beloved among people who like Seinfeld, but like the actor famously went on like a racist diatribe one time when he was on stage because he was doing stand up.
According to Wikipedia, he's part of the main cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's always like a treat though.
Who's the guy who was in Jurassic Park who got eaten by the spitter?
Newman. I don't remember his name, but Newman is his character's name.
Maybe someone like that.
Oh yeah.
Also, I don't like Seinfeld.
Damn, we just Seinfeld haters right here.
I feel like you have to have been like of a certain age at the time when it was airing in order to have like.
I'm of the age, Morgana, but I don't like Seinfeld.
It's not nostalgic for you.
It's mean.
It is mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate some of like kind of slightly pioneering kind of like really humor, like deadpan humor it had, but like overall I don't like Seinfeld either. Or like the fan base, and
I have a hard time with sitcoms. There are a handful of sitcoms I really enjoy, but they're all kind of odd ones. Like I really like The Nanny. I really like Golden Girls.
The Nanny, yes.
The Nanny's so good. Yeah, I mean they're like, they're kind of weird. Like something like Seinfeld or Friends or there's like Will and Grace. They're all kind of the same.
So I grew up on Friends and I loved Friends growing up, but now I'm kind of repulsed by the idea of Friends. It's like that was very much like the 90s kind of like we should have known better, but we didn't know better kind of mindset. Like we like that's a pretty homophobic show at times, and very little people of color in that show too. It's really funny. Like when you look back at it, it's like we knew these things were bad, but for some reason we didn't think this was bad. And also just the humor isn't like that funny.
It's not that funny.
It was funny to me when I was like in middle school and high school, and I got some fond memories of it, but yeah, sitcom could be tough.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch is excellent choice. It does a sitcom, right? Like that's yeah. I guess I like very female driven weirdo sitcoms.
I did watch like kids sitcoms in Nickelodeon. Like speaking of Serena, Clarissa Explains It All. And my favorite was Salute Your Shorts.
I never saw that one.
I love that.
Yeah, Salute Your Shorts is really good. And I actually seen like an episode or two like in the last couple of years. And I mean it's definitely a show for kids, but it holds up. I could see kids liking that show nowadays. Yeah, so I as it happens sometimes in media, sometimes kids shows can be like really smart and just hold up over like just like very boring run of the mill stuff made for like mainstream people.
Yep.
Mhm.
Welcome to Manga Machinations and our tangents.
Are we sitcom machinations now?
No, we're still a manga
Sitcom
podcast.
situations.
We just like
No.
to ramble off on a tangent at the beginning.
I could not imagine doing a podcast about sitcoms. I do not want to watch that many sitcoms.
Yeah, I mean, we do a podcast about manga because we all like reading manga. So, before we move along, I want to bring up our coffee page and thank our listeners who support us by buying us a coffee. If you too want to support us, head over to ko-fi.com/mangamac and you can buy us a coffee. Darfox finally updated the coffee page because 15 minutes ago I was like, Dar, you should update that coffee page. And so yeah, Land of the Lustrous, funded by Philip. That will be coming in the future. We already did our Berserk Psycho Selection, also funded by Philip. Our Oak, the Inner Chambers, is upcoming this year. And yeah, thanks to Manga Machu, Vicky Dalton, and Lulu. Let's give a shout out to all the other coffee supporters. To Luid, Mia, Wyatt, Dr. Melface, Poor Mexican 72, Liquidus 002, Xtine, and Jen. Thank you for your support. Our current goal, which is not on the splash page, is just money for buying manga this year. And then once that's met, we will think about putting down another future project. But considering we have 2 retrospectives, like cooking in the future, that have been funded, we might want to calm down on the projects. The Oku one will happen sometime this year, I promise. We will make sure to finish that. Okay, after the coffee, I wanted to do a quick, I don't have emails, but I do have some comments from some of our listeners. I had an interesting comment from Aiden Clark, who was a guest on our 9-year retrospective Redux that we did Pluto for the 9-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden is the manga letterer. And he sent me a message talking about the last 2 episodes on Manga Machinations. You brought up a manga written by Richard Wu. Those both sounded really fun. Would love to get them in English someday. So those are the manga Inspector Daimajin and Kurokochi. Forgive me if you brought this up before if I missed it, but it's cool to know that Richard Wu is the pen name for Takashi Nagasaki. I'm very curious about how much influence he had on writing and story structure in many Urasawa works. I think he only had a proper writing credit on Master Keaton and Billy Bat. But I get the impression he was strongly involved in many others. I don't think they've worked together since Billy Bat. King of Eden is the main thing he's written that has an English release, and that didn't really grab me, but I definitely want to read some of his other stuff. So yeah, so it turns out the writer on Kurokochi and Daimajin was the same person who has been helping Naoki Urasawa on things like Pluto, Master Keaton, and Billy Bat. That's a Manga Machinations coincidence, if I've ever heard one. It all ties together.
Billy Bat never lingers far.
It does it.
Get your conspiracy board out, guys. And that red string.
Pepe Silva. Pepe Silva is Naoki Urasawa.
We also got a comment on the last episode from our listener Vicky about friends of different ages. I did line dancing for many years where the demographic was 50 to 80-year-olds. None of them became BFFs, but I hung out with a lot of them and went on trips, etc. My main takeaway is just how much life there is after 60. Those folks are busy. They look after their grandkids, supporting their adult kids, and at the same time caring for their aging parents. And either reveling in retirement or struggling with it. We had several 80-somethings, and one lady was called the baby because she was only 82. There were some somber moments, though. We'd heard that someone had taken a fall, and people did get ill and die during my time in the group. But overall, I feel really enriched by spending so much time with them and firmly understand that life doesn't end just because you're older. Plus, we had a romance. Two 70-somethings found each other and got married last year. How cute.
That's great. They'll love a happy ending. Incidentally, I just started listening to an audiobook called The Thursday Murder Club, and this is a mystery novel I've been thinking about reading for a while. And it's about a bunch of folks at a retirement community who get together and talk murder. I think also one of them commits a murder, but I'm only on chapter 4, so I'll keep you posted. But I was just the older, life doesn't end at 60. You too could do a murder.
Are you trying to imply something? Should I should I look into this?
I mean, I don't know.
Murder? Looking to murdering somebody?
You're not 60 yet, so
Yes, that's
You
not,
know.
that's a lot of prep time though.
yeah. I mean,
Oh my god.
just know that like you could still pursue your life of crime, even if you're no longer like a 30 under 30. So don't worry about it.
Oh my goodness. That's some wild, wild things to think about. I think Seamus made a reference to, like, one time, like, if Dakazu was going to do a perfect murder, he'd just throw someone into the volcano or something.
I mean,
Is that a
it's a pretty good
reference?
one.
I don't know. I forget when that happened, but I recall it.
It's a great place to hide a body.
In the volcano.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna find it?
That's
Although,
true.
how easily accessible are the volcanoes? I mean, is there security? And like what's the situation? I have not yet had the wonderful experience of visiting a volcano.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of difficult to throw somebody into a volcano because when you're in it, it's kind of just like a sloping mountain. It's not like it is in like in our imagination because we watch so much cartoons where it's like a very steep like drop off at the top of the cone.
Where you gotta hike.
Yeah, it's more just like a mountain top that's really rocky and the center of it may be volcanic. So like you kind of have to walk way into like the danger zone to drop somebody definitively into the volcano. I feel like
You gotta airdrop them.
I think that's way too obvious.
Helicopter. Well, like, okay, perfect murder. You've killed somebody already. You just need to hide the body. The best scenario is if you are some kind of like, I don't know, security official, police officer, somebody who would already have access to a helicopter. So it's not crazy if you're flying your helicopter around. And you just drop one into the volcano.
Doesn't that get logged?
I don't know.
a volcanologist. Oh yeah,
A volcanologist?
Volcanologists are a thing. That's a real word.
Okay.
So
I just mispronounced it.
That's unreal.
no, a volcanologist is real. Do you know why they're called volcanoes?
I think Star Trek.
Not Star Trek. Well, do you know who Vulcan was in
No.
mythology?
No.
I believe Vulcan is the god who, and I think this is in Roman mythology, who I believe in Greek he's Hephaestus. He makes Zeus's thunderbolts, or Jupiter's thunderbolts, and lives in his forge is the center of the earth. So that's Vulcan, and that's volcanoes. It's your weird mythology fact of the day.
I actually work with a Latin professor and Greek professor. He's a big humanities guy, so it's actually really common thing at work to just get lectured on those kind of things. I say get lectured like it's a negative thing, but no, it's always like a fun, interesting conversation. Like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just like trivia and history.
Darfox needs to go get that kettle.
I know.
No, it's my mom. She put it. She's gonna get it or burn down the house. Either one.
Jesus.
Like I can't do everything for my mom. I'm sorry.
Alright. Okay. Well, we can move along from the comments that we got. Let's go to some what you been reading. Seamus, it's been a while since you've been on. Have you been reading any manga? Or do you want to talk about some of the comics you've been reading?
No manga.
Did you get a chance to read any of the Shinichi Sakamoto from the couple episodes ago?
I did not. I had to
Alas.
return books to the library, so it was like writing to read these books. And they were like 600 and 900 pages, so that took a lot of
Oh
time.
Lord, yeah.
So a lot of time for Seamus is like 2 days, right?
She got the kettle.
Kettle update.
I was just curious about if you were still enjoying the Sakamoto stories specifically. You'll get there eventually. I'll hear your opinions.
What about you, Morgana? I know you are busy with some stuff this weekend, so
Yeah, I have not.
I did
have
see someone.
not.
I think someone logged into the Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that was my husband again logging in from the TV as opposed to the iPad. Crunchyroll does not stay signed in. It does not want to stay signed in on anything.
They're grumpy, you know.
Even my desktop after like a week, it jumps off.
Yeah, so yeah, he signed back on. He watched episode 2 of everything. But I came downstairs, was it last night? And he was like, "Oh, I started watching episode 2 of Run with the Wind, and I woke up and it was episode 4."
Oh no.
He did watch it. He watched most of it, but just kind of fell asleep toward the end. But yeah, he still thinks Free is ridiculous. He's enjoying Yowamushi Pedal. Today we were driving to my mom's, and in the car he was like, "I just don't understand the premise of Yowamushi Pedal that the anime club can't get enough members, but somehow the bike riding club has plenty. And also that they all have all this money to spend on all these damn bikes." Because they're expensive.
Bikes are expensive.
But he enjoys Yowamushi Pedal. That's a lot of fun for him. And Run with the Wind, he mentioned that it's the only anime he's seen that takes place at college. And I
Yeah.
realized that I have not seen a lot of anime. There are plenty of manga that take place in college, but I don't know that that a lot of like kind of more mainstream anime have been, college based.
Anime.
You're racking your brain for like example.
Okay, this might be a stupid question. You know that really popular anime? I never watched it. About like the anime club. Starts with a G.
Genshiken.
Genshiken. Didn't that partially take place in college?
It takes place in college.
All of
Yeah.
it. Okay. All right.
But I ain't
we got
seen
it.
that.
Yeah.
Remember, Shimoku Kyo is on my shit list.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, they had that sequel manga that's about the most weird, bad stuff I can remember. So.
Oh, where they replaced all like the male characters with just female characters.
No, I'm thinking of.
Oh, because of the trans girl narrative that he wrote. Oh no, you're thinking about Spotted Flower, the what if version of Genshiken.
I'm thinking about Spotted Flower, yeah.
Which is also garbage.
I don't even remember why I dislike it, but I remember at the time just not liking the conversation.
It was bad. It was so it was such a can of worms. So I'm gonna go find the episode. You can hear me rant about it.
But yeah, I can't think of anything else. Just my husband's been catching up with. He was watching that while I was reading Barbarities, so I did not join him in watching the second episode. I still haven't seen the first. I have not seen any Run with the Wind. He's been watching that on his own.
He can jump in the middle. He can explain. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's kind of told me the premise anyway. But I kind of wanted to keep watching Free with him because I've seen it before, and it's just kind of fun to be like, so what's going on? He's like, those boys are so drama, so drama, and I can't stand it. But he likes the animation still, so. But yeah, I mean, Yowamushi Pedal was already probably going to be his favorite of the bunch. I could have told you that to begin with. It's fun. It's a fun story. I mean, I think so. Free is fine. I mean, I think only a handful of people are watching it for the story, really.
Quick chat update, because we are recording this live on youtube.com/MangaMacTV. We got Chris in the chat, we got Tyler in the chat, and Lightning Ball in the chat. Hello. Okay, Dar, let's talk about you.
I will use my time to advertise another Manga Machinations venture. Specifically, Manga Mac TV presents Head to Head.
Yes.
It's a show where two manga heads read a volume of manga at the same time. Who will win first? What would they think about the manga? Find out in Head to Head. Explosion.
Yeah, so you made this it's like it's under 15 minutes, so it's a short format video.
Yeah, it's like a 10-minute video. It took us 3 years to realize that we need shorter videos and not like 40-minute conversations of me and Amber getting into the weeds.
Yeah, it's you and Amber, and so you both start reading a manga you haven't read at the same time and see who wins, and then you talk about it.
Yeah.
Why did you agree to do this with Amber? You're not gonna win.
Oh, you don't know that. The second episode is probably gonna come out.
I know you.
Sometime next week. I could. Maybe I'll win the next one. You don't know. you gotta tune in to find out. Is a thing. So the first episode we did was Elden Ring: Road to the Erdtree, which is a book we talked about a couple of times on the podcast. It's the Elden Ring manga, but it's a comedy. And Amber did not know that, so it was fun to have her figure that out.
It's a yen book.
It is a yen book.
Yes.
I'm very proud
Morgana
this is a yen
Darfox
book.
multiple times in this head-to-head episode keeps talking about dogs who talk to us. I was watching this thinking, like, what about Morgana? Morgana's talking about this too, you know.
A little
Morgana
bit.
works for Yen Press, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've literally spent 110 hours with you inside the world of Elden Ring, so
And
like,
more, because currently the DLC just came out, and we just played this. Yes, we just started more co-op rings.
So it's an advertisement within an advertisement. If you want to watch us play the Elden Ring DLC, go to twitch.tv/starfox8.
We played like 4 some hours yesterday, probably more.
It was like 5 hours. Yeah, it was a long time. And we managed to beat the first boss.
You managed to beat the first boss.
Barely.
I died in the first, not even 5 minutes. I died in the first 2 minutes, and then you and another rando like ended up killing. Yeah, the rando did like 80% of the damage.
Yes, we tried like 15 times at least. I feel like.
Yes,
we tried a lot.
It was over 10 attempts for sure.
And then by the. And it's one of those sad situations. If you're a gamer, you know about this feeling. Like you try a hard challenge over and over again, and you have times when you get close, or you do really well. But the time that I actually won, I did terribly, and like I didn't deserve that win. There was other like attempts that were so like white knuckle and like were so dramatic, and you know I completely failed those. But like the one where I didn't really do much at all. Nah, well.
Also, there were times where Darfox, we would start the fight, and within the first 15 seconds, Morgana, Darfox died.
Oh no!
And we'd have to restart.
I got hits hard. He kills you like in 3 hits.
Every time we restart, Darfox has to pop multiple items, summon me into his world, summon an NPC. It was like a couple minute. It was like at least a minute process, and then like 15 minutes of like actual like 15 seconds of attempt. Anyway, back to head to head. It's a good format.
Yes, we have an episode in the bag. It's almost edited, so I plan on getting out sometime next week. If not, it'll be week after next. And the fun extra bit about head to head is that you can win free manga. So because we're reading a bunch of volume ones, I'm gonna be buying a bunch of random volume ones, and I don't really have space for just so much manga. So I said, let me just give them away. So if you're subscribed, if you comment on the video, it enters you into the giveaway. And when the next video gets posted, basically we'll pick somebody and I'll mail the volume of the manga for free to whoever is kind enough to comment on our videos.
Listen, everybody, currently no one has commented, so you
Yeah.
have a very good chance of winning this.
That's true.
It's worth it.
Yes.
Get Elden Ring.
Yes, it has really
It's a
good
good
art,
manga.
and it's really funny, and it's really good idea.
And, I work for the company. I should be telling you go buy a copy, but just do whatever you can to get your hands on this.
That's right. And maybe you like enough, maybe you get volume 2 on your own, because I don't think
which
we're
is
gonna
out.
I don't think we're gonna give out volume 2 on the podcast.
Dar,
Yeah.
you're going head to head with Amber, and Amber won.
Yeah.
But like, there's no stakes. Are you guys gonna add stakes?
Yeah, we could add steaks, like skirt steaks. I like
Yum.
Skirt, yeah.
T-bone?
We could have like steak tacos.
Steak tips.
No, actually, one thing. Should be out of podcast conversation, but one thing I've thought about is because Dogzu is being Dogzu, who has read almost everything ever, is probably gonna have already read any manga we choose. So
Probably.
I'm kind of thinking of asking him to write us some trivia or like quiz, so that reading fast is not enough. We need reading comprehension as well. So,
Oh.
so maybe in the future, we might evolve the format so that we actually have to answer, like 5 questions, something uneven, so that there's a tiebreaker, and see which one was comprehended the manga most. So Dogzu would have to reread the first volume and come up with like 5 quick questions.
Okay, we can workshop this off air. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's like 3rd grade all over again.
Yeah.
But again, you need some stakes. Like,
So what I think is you should do like a season and like add up your points from the whole season. So you get points for finishing the book
Okay.
first. You get points for the questions, right? And then at the end of the season, you have like a winner. And I mean, you get the title, I guess, a winner. I mean, I don't know what you.
I'll buy her like a ramen.
I like how
ramen.
you immediately set it up because you were like, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah. What do you mean? I might win the next one. You don't know.
I think maybe we know now. I think maybe you gave it away.
Yeah, I like this idea, Morgana. Darfox should do this.
Yeah. Okay, we'll figure it out. Also, nothing's been planned in stone, but it might not just be ARG Bombshell. It might not just be me. It might be other people. There might be a wonderful world of manga heads rotating through that show.
It won't be me.
He's already read it all.
A, how are you gonna put me in there? And because I won't be on camera. I don't live in Florida. And B, I will win every time.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's pretty fast.
Do you read that fast in English?
Okay, I do read slower in English, but I'll still.
What if we get a Spanish copy of a manga?
Wait, how? That's fucking unfair. I can't even read Spanish. That's
You can figure it
ridiculous.
out. Context clues.
Am I gonna just like hold up my phone up with Google Translate to every page?
Yes.
This sounds silly.
But that's Manga Mac TV presents Head to Head. Check it out. It's a fun, quick video. So, I want to do a lot more.
Yes, please. Okay, is that it for you, Dar?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, before we started recording in chat, Chris from Canada was asking if I would talk about Bitch Planet. So I will talk a little bit about Bitch Planet, which is a Western comic done by Kelly Sue DeConnick. She was the writer, and the artist was Valentine de Landro. I think. I'm a little unsure on the artists because artists always change. Okay. Wait, were they both the writers? Man, I don't remember.
And I think you're right.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, the premise of Bitch Planet is it is a satire. Women who do not fall, like, it's a total patriarch society in the future. This is science fiction. And the men have set it up so, like, if there are women who don't fall in line with the patriarchy, they're sent off to a prison planet known as Bitch Planet. And you know, it's satire that doesn't read like satire. Like, it seems it's like to the extreme because it's the setting is the future, but like everything that they talk about and the issues they bring up about like the patriarchy and like modern society is very true.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
so,
satire. I mean,
yeah. So it's I enjoyed it. There's 3 collections, 3 trade paperbacks. But the
Mhm.
third trade paperback doesn't follow the story. It's more like side stories about like different like characters in this like setting. And I'm kind of the second trade ended with kind of like a pivotal moment happening. And I kind of want to see where the story would go from there, and they haven't done a sequel, and I don't know if they will.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. I mean, that series was pretty popular when I was working at the comic shop, but I think even then there were already 2 collections out at that point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if more is being worked on.
Yeah, it's like they were 10 issues, which cover first trade and then second trade, and then like 5 more issues, which were the the different side stories. So yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's
I'd be
really
sent.
all I yeah. It's decent science fiction. You know, you can definitely tell what Kelly Sue DeConnick is trying to say with it.
I'd be
there's-
sent to Bitch Planet. Pretty much every woman I know would be sent to Bitch Planet.
Yeah, that's basically like it.
It's
And
like it's like The Handmaid's Tale, but angry.
Yes. I don't know anything about the Handmaid's
I
Tale.
haven't read The Handmaid's Tale. I should emphasize, but it's all about, I mean, patriarchy and subservience, and
Yep.
it's upsetting. I haven't read it in my adult years, even though I hadn't read it before, because it feels a little too prescient, and I don't think I want to put myself through that.
Yeah. Let's see. What is the manga I want to talk about this week? Oh, it was... Okay, so I read 7 volumes of a series called Ossan no Pantsu ga nandatte ii janai ka, which translates to who cares what kind of underwear middle-aged men wear? I'm sending a link to the first chapter over on Pixiv. To the host. Oh my god, that URL is crazy. That is the longest URL I've ever seen in my life.
It also doesn't work.
Shit.
And I don't think it worked.
Hold on. Okay. I sent a link to Volume 1 on Pixiv Comic in Japanese. You can press the orange button. No, don't press the orange button. That means to buy, sorry. Press the gray button, and it will give you the first chapter as a sample to read. So, this manga is done by Jimu Nerima. And the premise is you have a middle-aged father. His name is Makoto. And he is hated by his family. He's basically a curmudgeon who, does not understand anything about LGBTQ. His son, he forces his son to play baseball, even though the son doesn't care about baseball, and his son likes things that are cute, and he likes makeup. His daughter hates him. She's a university student who's a Fushoujo, who draws BL. And his wife is also fed up with him, and she is a total idol fan and lives that Oshi life, or that stan life. Even their corgi dog, Carlos, will not listen to him. So what happens in the first chapter is he meets a young man in who's going to medical school to be a veterinarian named Madoka. No, named Daichi, sorry. And Daichi is gay. And he comes home in the first chapter to find out that his son, Kakeru, is hanging out with Daichi in their room. And he starts being super homophobic. And then he gets, basically all his, family members call him out on his bullshit. And he runs out and he's sad and he's like, oh, I can't change my ways. I want to update who I am. But Daichi actually, befriends, I don't know why. That's the weird thing. Why does Daichi have the patience to want to befriend this homophobic father? But he does, and helps the father on a path of updating himself with more modern sensibilities. Basically, not to be a homophobic asshole. And that's the premise of the story, Morgana.
God bless Daichi. It's not his job.
It's not.
But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta take somebody by the hand and be like, listen, buddy, we're gonna fix this, okay? You and me,
Yes.
it's gonna be okay.
Daichi is basically saintly in the way that he puts up with Makoto. And the thing about Makoto the father is he means well, but he's just an idiot. He is just he just stumbles as he's trying to better himself and everything. It's really cringy and kind of hard to read at times. I like this because I like the premise, and ultimately, he becomes, very understanding of his son, of his daughter, of his wife, of Daichi, of everyone. And so it's, it's a nice story about someone overcoming any kind of bias or, stereotypes, prejudices that they had. And that's nice. But a lot of it, this is described as a comedy. And some of the comedy moments feel super cringy to me as I was reading it. I did finish it. It's kind of hard, Morgana. I like this, but some of that cringiness, it felt off to me. Some of the comedy moments as well. What's an example of a comedy moment that I felt worked? He's starting to understand his son, and then it switches to the daughter. The daughter has to enter Komiket, but she gets sick on the day. She gets a huge fever and she can't go present. So the dad volunteers to go sell at the booth.
Oh no.
Sell his daughter's BL.
BL.
And the BL that the daughter draws is middle-aged men BL.
Oh no.
So that was a little funny. That was a little funny. He ends up doing it with Daichi and beating stuff, but like there are other moments where the father Makoto is hanging out with Daichi and Daichi's boyfriend. And like they're at a barbecue with Daichi's mom and a bunch of people, and then like Makoto just starts openly talking about how Daichi's boyfriend, like, you're gay, right? And then Daichi's boyfriend like snaps at him for like outing him because he doesn't know what like that means to out somebody. And that kind of stuff is like very cringy to watch.
Yeah, that's rough.
So like a lot of uncomfortable moments that are kind of masked with comedy. I think those are the parts that maybe like didn't sit well with me. Ultimately, I still think it's a good story, right? It's about somebody who's doesn't know, he's ignorant about things, and then he learns to understand his son, he learns to understand his daughter, and he better understands his wife.
Okay, but I have one question.
Yes.
What does this have to do with his underpants?
Okay, the title, right?
Yeah.
What happens is, as he's like in the first volume, as he's trying to get to know Daichi, they go to a bathhouse together. And when he goes to the bathhouse, he realizes he's the only one in boxers. Everyone around him is wearing like boxer briefs or thongs. And then he's like, "What gives? Like, what? What's the deal with this? Why can't I just wear what I want?" And that moment's like supposed to be like a comedy moment. It's supposed to represent that he's like stuck in the old ways and he should learn to like expand his thoughts, which I get, but ultimately I don't think it matters if he changes what underwear he wears.
No.
He's given a pair he's given a pair of like boxer briefs from like Daichi, the gay friend, and then later on finds out, oh my god, these cost so much. I gotta repay him, buy him new ones. I don't know. There's also like a really cringe comedy moment where he's at home coming out of the bath, and he's like, the bath is right next to the laundry, and he discovers that his daughter has these really like flashy underwear, and he starts berating her about it, which is already bad. But then he slips, and then the underwear falls on his, privates.
Oh boy.
And the daughter pitches a fit and demands like a shit ton of money. And he's like, "What? How come it costs that much?" But then like later on he's by a shopping mall and he sees underwear on display and he's like, "Oh my god, bras and panties are so expensive."
So expensive, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Bras especially.
Oh yeah.
You can get away with cheap underpants, but like bras, man, it gets rough out there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's talking about it makes me realize like it's pretty good. It's a pretty good manga. It talks about issues. But yeah. I did not fully enjoy it. It seems like something I should really enjoy,
You feel like this is written like the target audience is meant to empathize with like the dad or laugh at the dad? Like what do you feel is like?
Yeah, is this like a My Brother's Husband thing where it's like, okay, you non-gay, come and see how you should mend your ways, and we're going to show
Yes.
you how like gays are normal people.
I think that is the case. However, the good thing about this manga is like it doesn't totally focus on the dad. We spend a lot of time with the son Kakeru because he's been out of school for 3 months, and like as he finally like befriends Daichi and gets some confidence and his dad becomes a little bit more supportive, he goes back to high school, and and Kakeru makes friends with a bunch of girls who are really into makeup, and they become friends. And it's like a story. There's a side story about like the girls, like really like one of the girls has a crush on someone who works at a karaoke place. Or the side stories about the daughter. She's pressured by a lot of her college friends to go on group dates, but she's not interested in dating anyone. She doesn't really care about having that kind of relationship. She's satisfied being single, which the dad, again, doesn't understand immediately, but, learns to understand. Or spending time with a mom who became like a huge, idol otaku. And the reason why, because she was struggling with postpartum stuff, and she found some solace in like these idols. And the father actually going with her to like an idol concert and actually having a good time. So it's nice to see the growth of the family together. And I think that helped, because if it was just the father and his cringe, I probably would have checked out. Because that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, but it does. It sounds like a cute story. It sounds like the kind of thing that I would like.
Yeah. And there was a live action drama of this, of course.
Sounds like good drama material, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, like, with real people, like, some of the comedy and drama aspects would probably work a little better. But yeah, it was generally enjoyable, and then I had some thoughts about, kind of how everything is presented. So I'm glad I got to talk about that. And kind of inappropriate for Pride and Panels for Pride Month this month. Okay, and that's what I read this week. Let's end what you've been reading. And before we get to our main segment, let's talk about next week. Oh my god, what the hell were we supposed to read next week? Okay, I have it right here. Sorry, everybody. Next week, Morgana, you're going to be out.
Yep.
So Darfox, Seamus, and I will be doing a one-shot on Sexy Voice and Robo. Oh my god, the Viz website does not list the author. It's so bad. Io Kuroda, I think. Sorry if that's wrong. This manga has been on our reading list for a long ass time, like many years, and we've never read it. I don't know think about this. I might have added this to the list. Maybe Seamus. I don't know. But we were discussing what to read next week while Morgana's out. And we just said, this has been on the list. Why don't we just read this? So yeah. We'll be reading Sexy Voice and Robo by Io Kuroda, put out by Viz, for a one-shot next week. Stay tuned for that. Okay, everybody, before we get to our main segment, we want to take a quick break. So we are going to drop the stream, and after the break, we will get into a triple dip. Stay tuned. Okay, we are back, everyone. It's time for a triple dip. That means we have 3 different series. We're reading the first volume, and we're deciding how we feel about them. Will we continue reading them? And also maybe ranking them at the end of this discussion. For this triple dip, we have Emanon, Memories of Emanon, Barbarities, and Vampreez. Barbarities and Vampreez are gay-coded, so kind of fits in with Pride Month. Emanon is not. But yeah, we have 3 of these manga. Seamus, it's been a while. Why don't you pick which one we talk about first?
Emanon.
Emanon, interesting. Okay. So Emanon, Memories of Emanon, that's the subtitle for Volume 1, is a manga written by Shinji Kajio, and the artist is Kenji Tsuruta. It's put out in English from Dark Horse Comics. Translator was Dana Lewis. Let's see, it was serialized in Comic Ryu from Tokuma Shoten. Originally in Japanese in 2008. Let me go ahead and read the copy over on Dark Horse. The year is 1967, and a young Japanese man is thinking about the future. On one side of the water, the war is raging in Vietnam. Far away on the other side, the Apollo project has just met with disaster as 3 astronauts die in a capsule fire. And here and now, on a long nighttime ferry ride back home, he will meet and fall in love with a mysterious young woman who carries a past deeper and more profound than his dreams and fears of tomorrow. Her name, she jokes, is no name, Emanon, and she can never be forgotten any more than she can forget. So I think I added this to our reading list. The manga artist Kenji Tsuruta, he did a series called Spirit of Wonder, which is also put out in English by Dark Horse. My brother collected these comic issues, and so that's how I know him. I read the English version. And Spirit of Wonder is very interesting. If anything, I wish we could have read that, because that really shows off Kenji Tsuruta's artwork. His artwork is very nice. Good art. And a lot of more fantastical things happen in Spirit of Wonder. What is it? So Shinji Kajio, who is the writer, this manga is based on his novel series that he did called Emanon. And he wrote those in where is it? What year was it? The 70s? Yes. I think he wrote it sometime in the 70s, and then the manga got made much later by Kenji Tsuruta. Let's see, the copy basically covers everything. Like, the setting is 1967. A man is taking a ferry boat back home. He meets this young woman that he immediately becomes attracted to. She kind of uses him as an excuse to get away from pervy old men who are drunk. And then they get to talking where Emanon, says her name, my name is Emanon. And then also tells him her secret. The secret being that she has the memory of everything from the start of time on Earth. Of all creatures, from the tiny bacteria all the way to modern time. Seamus, this seemed like some shit that was written in the 70s by someone who was smoking some shit, or inspired by a lot of science fiction of the time. What did you think of this manga, Emanon?
I thought the art was really good, particularly some of the shots at the ship at night. The story, I was just like, I don't care. Like, this is just so definitely like something out of the 70s. I was like, oh, she's basically Paul Atreides and slash magical pixie dream girl. Like there was so much text. I was like, just they were like explaining her purpose. I was like, I don't care. Like, who gives a shit what her purpose is? Like, it's boring. Like, there's nothing interesting here.
Seamus is like, show me more shots of the ocean sea at night.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like all image, no text. I think is what this needed more of. Yeah, when I read the bit and I was like, oh, it's based on this guy's novel. I was right. I was like, that explains why there's so much like text and all this like musings on life and all this stuff. Where it's just like, this is boring. And like just so maybe in the 70s, I don't know, maybe wouldn't have been as just like unoriginal now. Even then I was like, at this stage, like, I don't know. Yeah, Dune was out at this stage, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Then you must have enjoyed how like the last 20 pages were nothing but illustrations.
Yeah, there were some really nice illustrations.
Yeah, I figured Seamus would really dig Kenji Tsuruta's artwork. So I'm glad. Because after I read this, I was like, I don't think Seamus liked this story that much. Darfox, what did you think of Emanon?
I thought it was neat. It reminded me. Do you know what it reminded me a lot, Dagzu?
What?
A movie that we both watched from Movie Box.
What? Which one?
Unless you skipped it. I think it was a Beowulf Schaefer pick. It's called Man from Earth, or The Man from Earth. You remember this?
The Man from Earth.
Yeah.
I was probably not on that episode, or I skipped this.
Okay. Yeah, it was.
By the way, Darfox is talking about like on our old podcast, All Talk. We used to do a weekly thing where it was a movie club, so we would talk about a movie picked by a forum member.
Yeah, a member of the community we just hang out with. And Man from Earth, it's a very low budget like indie movie, and it's like in Star Trek language, it's a bottle episode, meaning it all takes place in one place with like a limited cast. I guess in movie parlance, it's kind of like a play, and it's about a professor who is moving away. He quit his job at the university he's teaching, and all his professor friends are coming over to help him pack and say goodbye, and also be like, you don't want to reconsider because we really like you, and we like hanging out and drinking and just talking and whatever. And he's like, no, I really had to go. And then he kind of thinks about it and said, okay, actually, I'll tell you my secret. I never tell people this, but it's my time to move, because if I stay somewhere too long, people get suspicious, because around 5 or 6 years they notice that I'm not aging. Turns out I'm immortal. I'm a caveman. I've been on Earth since the prehistoric times, and it's very similar to Emanon and this guy just kind of sitting around and talking and waxing philosophically about like, well, what does this mean, or talking about logistics, to like, well, how did you get away with it, or how does that mean, or like, what was your life like, and in the movie Man from Earth, I like that movie quite a bit, but mostly just because I really like a lot of the actors. It has a lot of character actors and stage actors. It has a lot of Star Trek actors. It has Tony Todd in it, and it's just fun to watch these actors play off each other. And there was a twist at the end of the film where I'll just spoil it, where it turns out one of the professors, who's like much older than the actor that was portraying him, much older than the actor who was the Man from Earth, was the Man from Earth's son, one of his previous sons from one of his previous marriages. And it was like a big emotional moment where like that kind of like proved to that character, because he was a skeptic, like, yeah, this is not real. Eventually he wins everybody over. He's like, oh yeah, wow, you are immortal, it's just crazy. But he was a skeptic throughout the whole thing until that moment, and realized like, you're my daddy, and it was just like a really emotional, kind of weird moment. So not exactly the same premise as Emanon, But just the fact that most of this manga was two characters sitting around and talking about like this version of immortality and kind of like human evolution and time passage. It was very similar, but I guess what Seamus was alluding to is that this is not like a super unique concept. It's kind of a been there, done that concept. But yeah, I mean, I didn't, I wasn't as meh about it as Seamus was. I'm kind of interested to see what continuing stories will be framed as, because the whole framing of the story is like a day with Emanon, and it's the chapters are time coded throughout that day. And I assume the story moves away from that character, so I wonder how the story is going to be framed directly from the perspective of Emanon, or it's just going to be just another guy that instantly falls for her or whatever. It's going to be their day. But yeah, and like Seamus said, the art was really good.
All right, nice. Well, let's turn to Morgana for that meh opinion.
I got problems with this.
I know you do. I know you do, Morgana.
All right. So at the back of the book, there was some text. I don't know if you guys read it.
Yep.
And the author was like, "Yeah, I got the idea for this when I was on a ferry myself, and was wondering, wouldn't it be nice if I ran into a beautiful, mysterious girl
who was into science fiction?"
And I was like,
she got freckles.
You didn't actually need to say that. I knew that that's where you got this inspiration.
But he just says it. It's just
he said the quiet part out loud.
Yes.
It's Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Definitely. I have some problems with the whole concept of memory of 3 billion years. Not because it's not a cool concept, but because Emanon claims to have memories from when she was like in the primordial ooze, and animal memory doesn't work like human memory, and so I have some like questions about the logistics of that and how that doesn't make any fucking sense. And then we have the whole like she passed the memory on to her child and just lost all her memory. So which means she lost memory of meeting this guy who she told all about her secret, except that was, I mean, she still has some memories of her own life, right? I assume. So wouldn't that mean she would have memories of like being on a ferry and meeting this guy, even if she doesn't have the memory of like the 3 billion years prior? Like there were a lot of really big holes, and this really felt like
were Morgana.
When does the memory jump? When these are controversial questions.
Yeah, like there were some big holes, and it was just very clearly like some lonely nerd was like, I would love a beautiful girl who's also a nerd to like me, and also I should never achieve her because that's more romantic.
That's exactly what this reads like.
Yep, it's smacked of 70s sci-fi, and not in a complimentary way.
Yep.
I like some 70s sci-fi. I like, I don't like Dune, but I I hate Dune. But but there are other, I love Ray Bradbury. I like the fucking Twilight Zone, which is also full of plot holes. Like, I know it's not perfect sci-fi, but I enjoy it. But this was like, I mean, yes, the art is lovely. A lot of the scenery is really lovely. Girl's super skinny though. Like, I don't know, man. There were a lot of excuses to have like a partially clothed or completely naked 17-year-old girl on the page. So I had some thoughts, capital T thoughts about this. Not my favorite of this bunch, tell you that.
Actually, you're talking there just reminded me of I think there was like Grant Morrison did a run on X-Men, and I think the end of his run was like a Days of Future Past, Far Future thing, but their enemies like this basically bacteria from the dawn of time who was like, oh, I need to get rid of the X-Men because they're going to threaten my existence. Yeah, that was it. Super mutant bacteria, super intelligent bacteria. That was a more interesting concept of a thing that's been around forever, because just like, yeah, I've just like manipulated mankind to like eliminate mutants.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to like make the conceit that the bacteria is already intelligent, that's one thing. Like if you want to make the, because I don't know. I was having trouble with the whole like I was a like weird single cell organism and I have memories of my like single celled siblings. I'm like, no, you fucking don't. Those things don't have brains. Like, come on. Just having some trouble with it. And yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I do wonder if he's trying to like outdo Frank Herbert. Like, oh well, you only did like people. I'm gonna do all of life on this planet.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, at the start I was willing to give it like a chance. I was like, okay, we've got some like meet cute on a ferry. She's a mysterious teenager, and oh, isn't this a little bit silly? But like maybe it'll be okay.
Tying
And-
it in with the old Fables Morgana, I like that part a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's some, it's not an entire waste of time, but mostly because the art is nice. But I definitely, by the end of it, I was just kind of mad. I'm like, what do you mean they made him write more? What else is there to say?
I guess a lot of people liked that story and liked this character.
A lot of lonely nerds in the 70s and 80s. Look, and this is not entirely. I mean, this again, American sci-fi is not dissimilar. British sci-fi. It's not like this kind of story doesn't exist, and that's another thing. And Seamus is right. This feels kind of done already, but it's kind of hard to say whether maybe it was a little bit more original at the time. But you could not pay me to read the original prose novel this is based on. I'm telling you.
Especially when they get, like, after Emanon explains, and then the man is like, well, what about, like, the evolution of, like, humanity, and then we won't have any bodies. And, like, by then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna skim. I don't want to read this.
But also then Emanon was like, I don't understand what you mean. I'm like, girl, you have 3 billion years of memory. Do you not have any brains? Like... You can't understand this concept is too heady for you, but you've been in existence for 3 billion years.
Come in and change her, like give her some enlightenment. It's like, what the
But
fuck?
see, he reads science fiction, so he's capable of understanding ideas.
It's not reads; it's the author who wrote this reads science fiction. This is the author. Everybody.
A self-insert character.
100%.
Well, like I said, he understands the idea, even though he has no context. And the more you look at, the more you're like, "This is what do you want about?" Yeah, I've actually listened to a podcast where a guy's like reading through a lot of science fiction books, but he's going through one particular author who was actually writing around this time. M. John Harrison, his name. He was like an editor for a while for a magazine, and he kind of quit the job because he was like, "Oh, I thought there was like interesting science fiction, like Ray Bradbury," and then I realized 95% of this is pure and utter shit. And I was like, "Yep." But oh yeah, that was it. There was a thing of kind of came up of like, it was only he said it, and I realized I'd heard this before. Of like, someone's like, "Oh, I'm interested in X topic," and someone recommends a science fiction book because it's like, it gives you the idea, but like no actual context. So it's like easy, but it also doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Like what is happening right here. Wait, none of this makes any sense.
No sense. Also, girls shouldn't smoke. I almost threw my tablet across the room. I was like, come on.
That was at the very beginning.
It was so annoying.
Yeah.
The whole like this is kind of a staple, I think, in a lot of like male-led romances. Is like, I'm gonna insult this girl or tell her how to do something or correct her, and then somehow she's still gonna fall in love with me, and I'm like, oh, you guys, this was not for me.
We should read this next week.
It's all right. It's all right. This one was for the straights. Put one out there for the straights. You guys, your fiction sucks.
I mean, I at least appreciate that everyone here thought Kenji Tsuta's artwork was good. because he's a good artist. Maybe his taste in like female characters and what he prefers, that falls more under like what you can see, but he's a good artist. I'm with Seamus and Morgana about this. The thing I want to talk about is this came out in 2019, according to the Dark Horse website. And God, Dark Horse, I read this on Kindle, and fuck, you have to not do this.
Yeah, it's annoying.
The way that this digital edition of Emanon is presented is you flip to the right. And so when they started doing that, I was like, oh wait, so they flip the pages? It's like, no, you're flipping to the right, but the pages,
reading right to left,
you're still reading right to left, which means the pages are on the opposite side of each other. And that, I got so mad. I got so mad at that because at the beginning I was so confused about like the reading order, and I was like, this is some dumb shit that people who don't understand manga set it up like this. And that, however, there are some 2-page spread pages where like you can't do that, so they were smart enough to make sure that it's presented different. And the way they did that was like they matched it to like the width of like the Kindle reader, which shrunk it, and then I couldn't zoom in on it. Oh my god, I got so mad trying to read this. It was not the worst experience reading a digital edition, but it's up there with being like, you're fucking this up. This is not the way to do this. Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned about Emanon that anyone wants to talk about? I guess not. Seamus, would you read more Emanon?
No.
Morgana, would you read more Emanon?
Nope.
Darfox, would you read more?
I'll read all of that shit.
There's only 3 more volumes left, Darfox. Maybe if it's just you and me, we'll do a fucking one shot on the rest. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. My thing about this book is, let's read something else by Kenji Tsuruta, which is not written by Shinji Kajio. Okay? Let's just read a fucking Kenji Tsuruta manga. I'm bummed that The Spirit of Wonder is not available digitally. He does have, there's a manga called Captain Momo's Secret Base, where it's a science fiction story about Captain Momo, who runs this, a ship by herself. It's almost like she's all by herself, so she's in her underwear all the time, of course. But she just does mundane shit around her ship, and she has to deal with her Grandpa John, which is a cat in space. And I think that sounds nice.
Grandpa John is a great name for a cat. Also, it is literally what my kids call my stepfather. His name is John.
Yeah, so maybe instead of reading more Emanon, we should maybe look at another Kenji Tsuruta manga. I think Seamus, Morgana, you guys would be open to that at least.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with. Yeah, just this was.
This is a runner up for worst manga of 2024 for Morgana.
I won't lie. When I saw him mention a Robert Heinlein, I was like, oh Christ, this is not going to go well. But I didn't actually realize it was written back then.
I didn't either until I got to the end. And I was like, that makes so much more fucking sense.
Yes. At least you're like, or at least he was alive at the time. It's not like he's doing some like weird fucking nostalgia stuff.
Yeah. It was a work of the time, which comes with the problems of the time.
Yes, but Doc still ignores all the ones that didn't have these problems.
Come on, man.
Look, they can't all be great.
All right, let's move along. Seamus, I'm just going to let you pick the order. What shall we talk about next?
Is it How do you pronounce that? Vampires? Vampires?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vampires. Okay, let's talk about Vampires, a manga done by Akili. And let's see. This came out in 2019, serialized in Sunday GX, put out by Shogakukan. The English edition is put out by Dempa. And the translation is done by Molly Rabbit and lettering by Mo Harrison. Okay, I'm trying to navigate the Dempa website, which is not the best. Just give me a second. All right.
Oh yeah.
Dempa puts out some nice books, but their website needs an overhaul for sure.
It's rough, buddy.
Okay. The copy over on Dempa says, just as Ichika and her family begin to settle down after a funeral, a mysterious young lady appears in their home searching for something. Who is this person? And is she looking for a memento? Or is she hunting down something more vascular? It's quite the copy. But yeah, story is about Ichika. She's in high school. She goes to her grandmother's funeral and then meets this blonde young girl with a bob cut. And yeah, this what was her name? God, I read this first, so like I don't even remember. Aria? Is that the name she gives herself? Yes.
Yes.
And yeah, Aria is a vampire. She sucks Ichika's blood. And she hypnotizes Ichika's parents so she can live with Ichika as her cousin. And she knew Ichika's grandmother. And the reason that she has befriended Ichika is there is an item she needs that is hidden inside a shrine behind the house. Locked inside this shrine is a dagger that can kill Aria. And yeah, Aria asks Ichika, take this dagger and kill me. I can't kill myself. But Ichika is attracted to Aria and refuses. And then by the end of Volume 1, another vampire shows up who's been sucking the blood of like the students. And, you know, Ichika thinks like Aria's been cheating on her by sucking other people's blood. But it turns out it was this other vampire who is supposed to be Aria's mother. And at the end of Volume 1, Aria transfers into Ichika's class. And all she can do is laugh. Morgana, let's start with you. What did you think of Vampires?
So this is something that I had wanted to read for a while. It's very different than what I thought it was going to be. And that's not a criticism. I just kind of I didn't really know what to expect. It was cute and fun. It's much more like I knew it was Yuri, right? But with Arya's mom showing up and that being very like there's a lot. It's much more like silly Yuri than I thought it was going to be. Like lots of comedy. Yeah, I guess I didn't have any really strong feeling about it. It's cute. I enjoyed it. I think I like it better than a lot of Yuri about high school age girls. I feel like a lot of those are kind of vapid. Or like not even just vapid, but just like, oh, I don't know. Especially early ones kind of treat the relationship as like a fleeting thing that it's going to be like only for high school will we experiment with our whatever. Anyway, so this seems like a more genuine romance.
It's a decent plot, like the fact that Aria wants, Ichika to kill her because she's lived so long.
Yeah, and it's funny. What's funny to me, and I guess I kind of get it because Ichika's a teenager, but like she just cannot fathom why Aria wants to die. She cannot fathom why it's so hard to live so long, to be so long lived. And I'm like, really? Like, you can't imagine? And I guess, I mean, this is the wisdom of age, right? I'm like, you can't imagine like losing all your loved ones, you know, and like losing everybody you care about. And I don't know, like, I can sympathize with Arya. But it's interesting that Ichika really can't. Like, she's still so young and kind of a little bit selfish that she wants to keep Arya. So yeah, I enjoyed it. The vampire stuff feels almost, I mean, I guess it has to be there because she's immortal, right? And that's like part of the plot, but like there's not a whole lot of the vampire trappings. Like she, real quickly you kind of get Arya being like, yeah, we don't do that, or that. Like all these myths about vampires are just not a thing. So there's not a whole lot of that kind of familiar vampire lore kind of holding it together. So it's kind of its own thing. Yeah, it was fun. That's kind of how I felt about it. It was enjoyable.
All right, good. Let's turn to Seamus next. Seamus, what did you think of Vampires?
I like this.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
There you go now. I think it was like Morgana was saying there, like very quickly just dismissed all the vampire stuff. It was like, I want to keep the bit we care about, we're just going to keep going. Yeah, there was like a bit more to it with Arya wanting to die. It was like an interesting mix of like kind of the lighthearted within this bit of like, there's kind of something more here in the background. This I'm sure will percolate along the way. I think I just like the pacing of it. Like it moved very quickly. Like there was no dragging anything out. It was like she's a vampire. They have feelings. The girl has feelings for her. Right, get up, we go. Like we're not fucking around here for like 3 volumes of this.
Wow, that's interesting that you said that, because I felt the pace of this was a little slow by the end of volume 1.
Maybe I'm like reading too much like last 20 years of like US comics where like
You have been reading a lot of Punisher and stuff like that, yeah.
Well, okay, not Punisher, or other stuff. It's like, well, by read I mean shake out and be like, what the fuck am I reading this for? Where it's like, yeah, they'd like spend like 6 issues doing the vampire reveal or something. Where it's just like, boom, 1 chapter go. I think that was it. It was just like tearing through the premise. We're just going.
Yeah, I get that. Like, all that stuff is very, quickly paced. I guess I was thinking about the relationship between Arya and Ichika is kind of slow moving here. Or maybe that's just me.
If it
Dakazu, she was sucking her blood in like 2 chapters, like.
And also, if Arya gets on board to the romance too fast, then there's gonna be nothing to write the rest of the book about, or the rest of the series.
Okay, maybe that's what I was feeling.
Slow burn. It's not that slow. I mean, like they're sucking blood. I just love that, like, Ichika's like, I have feelings for you, and Arya's like, you're mistaken. No, you don't. It's like, what? You're the one who like showed up and started sucking her blood.
All right, let's turn to Darfox. Darfox, what did you think of Vampires? Oh, I'm sorry. Darfox stepped away from his mic real quick. Sorry, I missed his message. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about this. I already mentioned that I thought the pacing was slow, but I guess that's just the pacing of Ichika's feelings and her relationship with Arya. It's probably more Ichika's feelings. But I guess that matches the fact that she's a teenager and she's being a little wishy-washy with some stuff. She's no shonen protagonist who's gonna take the sword and be like, alright, let's do this! Nothing like that. I like the art a lot.
Yeah, it's neat. It's really clean.
It's clean, but
Really
like some of
pleasant.
the clothes are really detailed. like the shading.
I
And then,
love
like-
the.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I love. You mentioned the clothes. I was gonna say that they did a bit with like Ichika's grandmother's vintage dresses,
Yeah.
and for me I felt that was really fun. They look really classy.
There's some action scenes of like Arya like clobbering her manservant Jiro. Jiro must be what's the term in vampire mythology?
Oh, like a
Working under a vampire. It's manservant here in Vampires, but
familiar.
yeah, familiar. Yeah, that's the one. That woman who showed up at the end of this first volume, who was turned out, she said she was like Arya's mother. Is she actually Arya's mother?
So I'm wondering if she's like Arya's mother in the sense that she gave birth to Arya, or Arya's mother in that she turned Arya into a vampire. So like her sire.
I think it's the opposite, Morgana. I think because Arya is so old, Arya turned this woman and then set her up to become, be my mother because you're of the age. That it makes more sense.
Yeah, that's a good theory, actually. Yeah.
Vampires gets bonus points from me for including a musical composition with correct musical notation and even a note in the back about the song and everything being correct. So, thumbs up from Dakazu, not on my shit list. It's a Seikilos epitaph, which I didn't know this. But apparently it's the oldest surviving complete musical composition.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't look at that note.
Yeah, apparently they found like it on marble, and it's like the text is there and also the music notation is there, and so the song is all correct. And I went,
cool.
Yeah, I listened to it on YouTube because there's some performances, and it's pretty good. I was like, this is decent, and this is all correct. If only all manga can be musically correct. Let's see. I don't think Dark Fox is back yet. There's not... I'm flipping through this volume and it's very good. Wait. Oh yeah, so that's the thing to mention. Like, Arya says she's kind of old. But, like, she talks about that song, and I just talked about. Seikilos Epitaph. And apparently that's like one of the because it's the oldest surviving complete musical composition, it's from between the 1st and 2nd century CE.
Yeah, that's old.
So like, yeah.
Okay, see, this makes a whole lot more sense than having memories of 3 billion years. You should have just made Emanon a vampire.
You should have.
I'm not going to be mad about it anymore. It's fine.
Okay, Dark Fox is back.
Greetings, I am Dark Fox.
Dark Fox, will you please tell us what you thought about Vampires?
Yeah, I'm glad you saw Vampires. It was really nice. I liked it a lot. I thought it was entertaining. I liked the leads, and before I left in a hurry, I think Morgana said it wasn't exactly what she expected. And yeah, I thought like this is a little cuter than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was gonna be kind of like a kind of sad or tragic or dramatic story about people getting corrupted or something. I don't know why. I don't know why I had like very almost operatic ideas of what this story was gonna be like. But it's it's kind of cute.
We just read DRCL, so maybe you're influenced by that.
And vampires are just kind of drama, right? Like that's like
yeah.
And the cover doesn't really give you much. It just kind of shows like, here's a pair of girls staring into each other's eyes, and isn't that like intense, right? Like it looks intense, and then the actual content of the book is there's a lot more comedy.
Yeah, and I guess you could read the cover as pretty sexual as well. Like
this is like something some spicy Yuri you're about to read.
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't doubt that later on in the story there might be dramatic things that happen, or some romantic, intimate things that happen between the characters, but it's mostly like this kind of unique situation that happens a lot in anime, where like, okay, now I gotta live with this person I'm crushing on, and also I'm just crushing on this person who's supernatural. So like, I don't know. It's like if you describe the story in the right way, it doesn't sound that different from something like Fruits Basket or something like that.
Right.
Don't bring up Fruits Basket. How dare you? God.
It's just, yeah, it's nice. And I like the art. I thought I like it's just a very appealing book. I've missed out completely on anything y'all said, so I don't know if
We kind of all felt like it was pretty appealing, actually.
I gave it bonus points for having correct musical notation about something I didn't know about.
I was thinking about that.
Yes, I got it all right. It was very cool. That song is from 1st and 2nd century BC, so very old. Morgana, would you read more vampires?
Yeah, I would.
Seamus, would you read more vampires?
Yes.
Darfox, would you read more vampires?
Hi.
That's a yes from me, so everybody at Manga Machinations would be down to read another volume of vampires. That's very good.
Combine it with the RCL, and I don't know, is there like some third vampire manga out there?
We'll find it.
I'm sure there is.
Need
Depends
more
if it's
vampires.
good or not.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We need to get that one license where the guy fights with the giant log. I love the side.
Dead silence. I'm like, what?
I had to think about it for a second.
Only
Like,
Dawkins have read this.
Yeah, first my brain blanked at your statement. Also, I was getting the next the volume that we're talking about ready too. So I was like, wait, what did you just say? And then I remembered, oh yeah, there was this stupid isekai about, hey, I isekai'd into this story, and it's like total harem with these two sisters that I'm both gonna bang. And the one joke thing is I fight with a log. I'm the ultimate log master. It's not. Don't read that. Don't read that. Morgana. Oh boy. Okay, let's move along to our last title for this triple dip. Barbarities. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. Okay, so this manga is done by Tsuta Suzuki. It started in 2014, serialized in magazine B-Boy, put out by publisher Libra. The English edition is put out by Seven Seas. We read volume 1. There is this total of 4 volumes. The translation was done by Jacqueline Fung. Adaptation, Mary Kate Jasper. Lettering, Nicole Roderick. Logo design, George Panella. Original cover design, Uchikawa Design. Cover design, M.A. Lou Life. Proofreader, Dave Murray. Copy editor, Lehana DeRowan. I'm gonna stop right there. Seven Seas always has so many credits. Great for them. I'm sorry. I'm sure I butchered many of those names. Let me read the copy on the Seven Seas website. In this beautiful boys love / BL romance inspired by Renaissance Europe, a dashing viscount tries to woo a serious nobleman. When Lord Montague's life is threatened, Viscount Adam Canning is assigned to be his bodyguard. Adam is blonde, dashing nobleman who is able to woo anyone who catches his eye. When he sees Lord Montague's nephew, Joel, Adam is immediately smitten. But Joel is too busy rooting out crime and corruption to fall for Adam's charms. Of course, that just makes Adam want him even more. Can Joel stay focused, or will he fall for the devilishly handsome Viscount? My wife told me that it's Viscount, not Viscount.
That is correct. I was gonna commend you on your correct pronunciation.
Thank you. It's because of my wife. She's been watching Bridgerton.
Yep. I did not know that from Bridgerton. I knew that from reading too many British mystery novels set at the pre-World War II. So
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so the copy covers it pretty well. This is a BL set in a fictional Renaissance Europe timeline. No real countries, but clearly they're inspired by European countries of the era of that time. And yeah, you have Joel, who is Mr. Serious. And then Adam, who is Fuckboy. And yeah, it is a historical BL. Let's turn to Darfox. What did you think of Barbarities?
I think this is the one I should have gone to the bathroom during the conversation of, because I didn't finish this one.
Oh no.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I ran out of time.
Boo.
I was reading it about the time you sent me that message. And I said,
My goodness.
I got a boogie. So I just skimmed through all of it really quick to look at the art, which is nice art, but that's not really good commentary. So
You saw the saucy bits.
I did see
There's
some
a lot of saucy bits in this.
I saw a little bit of sauce. I saw a lot of nice hair.
Mm-hmm.
So much nice hair.
Some good hands.
But yes, I unfortunately cannot give any actual commentary about this.
Okay. Let me turn to Morgana next. Morgana, did you like Barbarities?
I did. It was very fun. So this is one I mentioned last time. I actually bought the physical volume 1 some time ago, last year, maybe 2 years. I don't know when it came out, but close to when it came out. And I had not read it yet. So I'm glad to have had the excuse to read it. It's very fun. I mean, it's pretty silly in a lot of ways. I feel like, it starts off kind of like, okay, we're, here's our BL premise, and here's our boys, and here's them getting into antics, and then it kind of gets serious, right? And there's okay, now there's politics, and there's actual risk, and we're going to explore that instead of just making it about Adam trying to win Joel over. That's still there, but there's also the very real world context of it, and the church and everything like that. They're whatever's going on there. That is secondary to me in terms of I'm much more BL. Like many, come here for romance. I don't care about the rest of it. But it does make it a little bit more interesting than just otherwise it wouldn't really be set apart from any other BL set in a fictional Renaissance Europe, of which I'm sure there are others. So Lovely art, really lovely. Beautiful costumes, beautiful clothes, lots of lovely hair.
Lots of hot boys kissing each other.
Yes, so many. And some weird relationships. So you've got Adam and Joel, and that's the main relationship, but you also have the was it the crown prince of I think it's was it Trance or Trace, the other country?
Yes.
And his guard or retainer who he sleeps with when he's drunk. That is a kind of I mean, it's a coercive relationship, but it's also like that's an interesting one. It's not super wholesome. But it's like it's very intriguing. The like because the prince saved with Gil is the retainer from slavery.
The prince is Louis.
Louis, thank you. Or Luis?
Luis?
I think it's Luis. Saved him from slavery, right, where he was like fighting to the death, kind of gladiator style. Saved him from that and kind of made him indebted to him. So there's there's obviously a power dynamic there that's off. But it's an interesting one.
They only barely got into that at the end of this volume, so it's kind of maybe they'll take that somewhere else, Morgana.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Even Adam and Joel. Is that his first name then?
I don't know, Lord Montague. Yeah, I am not sure if we're supposed to. I mean, it's the same person. I'm not sure if that's his given name or not. That's my assumption.
Right, but like, there's a point where Adam tries to force himself on Joel.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Yeah, and thank goodness he stops.
Yeah,
like, when that started happening, I was like, oh, we really gonna go this route?
Yeah,
because I know it happens a lot in these kind of historical BLs. Like
BL in general. I mean, it can.
Yeah, in general too. But like, I feel like they kind of like excuse it happening because it was something of the time.
Yeah. Well, but even in this, he's like, I can't do this. This is not cool.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I enjoyed this too. I like Joel. Adam was a fuck boy at the beginning, but he turned out a little bit.
I kind of like
more interesting.
I kind of like him because he's a himbo. He's a big ditz, right? Like
that's a good way of putting it.
He's such a himbo, and Joel is like very studious and serious, and I like that dynamic. Joel is definitely a little too like, I don't know, cold. I feel like I'm like, come on, can we get a sense that you're like at least a little interested?
No, Morgana, we got the slow burn. We talked about with vampires.
Yes, a slow burn. I don't mind a slow burn, but I want it to be like, as the reader, I want to have a sense of like, okay, but he like is really into this though, right? Like, I feel like we're not getting that much.
We're not at that point yet.
Yeah. Well, I think there's only like 3 volumes, like total.
4 volumes.
So 4 volumes. Okay, so like we don't have that much time, y'all. Although this was a much longer read than the other 2 that we read this week. This was a pretty good amount of
almost
manga.
250 pages. Yeah.
Yeah, and the others were all less than 200. So
I really like the afterword, but the author.
Yes.
I shouldn't assume it's a she or he. They draw themselves.
It's a she. I think she actually says it in the
okay.
omake. Mm-hmm.
She draws herself as a stick figure, and my favorite thing that she did was she was like, "Past me in future me," because she's like, "Past me is drawing this like rough ass sketch," and it's like, I don't really understand this. Future me will figure it out, and the future me is crossing the panel. And it's like, I could fucking choke you out, god damn you jerk! It's so good. I love all that stuff. Very, very, fun, entertaining afterwards are a skill for a manga artist, and I appreciate that. Let's turn to Seamus. Seamus, I know what happened.
Well, I started it and I was like, there's not a lot of text here. And I was like, nah, I don't care.
Yeah, Seamus gave up on this book halfway through. So not like Darfox was...
That halfway was just me, like when I was like, I'll just give him if something interesting shows up.
I do feel like up until that point where you stopped, it was a little bit like silly. I think after that point it does get a little bit more interesting. The world itself gets a little more interesting, the politics get more interesting. That said, it's still a pretty silly BL. Let's be honest.
Also, I don't think like that the plot stuff that happened with the politics is the type of stuff Seamus likes, because it was like the church and the secular.
It's pretty basic. I mean, it's pretty basic. like I said, that's not part of it I'm interested in. I'm much more interested in the relationships between these characters. And you kind of need the context of the world itself, but only to a point.
Maybe the added dynamic of Louis being there with his servant Gil, that might change things because he's looking to like possibly invade the country or something.
Yeah, I mean, he was talking about like war.
What was it? Was like the anti-goddess faction. He was like kind of stirring them up or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is why Joel's life is in danger. I don't know. I gotta read more to find out. Is there anything else to mention?
I have to scrutinize this page before I put it up because I was about to put up another page, but it had a little PP in it. So
I know which one you're talking about.
so I said, "Oh no!" So this page is PP free, just some kissing and feet stepping.
I think that Joel is one of the first, if not the first, BL protagonist I've read who has a beard. His facial hair is very
Really?
uncommon. Yeah, and especially as like the kind of hesitant, sensitive one. Usually those ones are like depicted as more feminine, right? Like
you think of someone like Gil, in this case with the glasses, wouldn't you?
No, I'm just thinking like Sorry, what was that?
No, I was thinking like for like how you would characterize Joel's character, like how you Joel's the bottom, and I see a lot of the cases where it's like what was it, the Asamiko Nakamura classmates, because that character had glasses too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's my
Megane character.
preference. Glasses characters are bottoms. I'm too. My head's in the gutter. I'm sorry. Too much Oblivion battery anime with my wife, and she keeps like cracking jokes about it.
Wait, who has glasses in that?
The character who runs real fast with red hair.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Yeah,
Sorry, I derailed your commentary, Morgan.
Oh, I don't know. I was losing you a little bit. My internet connection is not great, so there was some skipping too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think I got most of what you said. Yeah, like he's just kind of a, usually this character is depicted as a little bit more, feminine, more, and a beard is very masculine. Like clear sign of manhood, right? But he's still like very, very slender and very lithe, and like there's that scene where he's getting fitted by the tailor, and he's wearing this like sheer gown, and you can see like the outline of his body. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I thought that scene was the most erotic in this book.
Yes, absolutely.
I was like, that's dirty.
Yeah,
they're not even kissing or anything.
That was sexy. No, it definitely was. I know he's a terrible stereotype, but I kind of really like the tailor a lot. He's definitely
the effeminate tailor.
Yeah,
character,
he's definitely meant to be that kind of Okama character. But I liked him. I just liked that he was kind of like he figured them out, figured out their relationship pretty like just by looking. Strong gaydar. He was just a fun character, just in general. But yeah, that scene where like Joel standing there with his like that diaphanous gown, and you just see like the outline of his slender body. And
Dog, do not bring that picture up.
Do not.
It is not okay for you to.
That is a nosebleed worthy page.
All right. Anything else to mention about Barbarities, Morgana? I think we're the only two.
I liked it. Yeah. I think nothing else. It was fun.
All right. Darfox, would you read more of this?
I would read it, period, and then maybe more of it. I read the first chapter and then I skimmed.
Okay. Morgana, you would read more of this.
Yeah, I would.
Seamus, you would not.
No.
Okay. I would also read more of this. It's 4 volumes. Seems like fun. A fun BL. So there you go. We are at the end of our triple dip. I'm surprised. We usually go through these much quicker. But we got through this pretty fast. No. I just realized what I said. We usually take longer because we talk a lot about things in triple dips. But this time, we went through it pretty fast.
Decisive victory.
Let's rank these 3. I think it's I don't know. I think it's pretty clear for most of us. Let's start with Seamus.
Vampreez,
Mm-hmm.
Emanon, and third one whose name I can't remember. We're just gonna say any.
Barbarities last. Okay. It makes sense. You did not particularly enjoy Emanon, but you did like the art. Yeah, but you did not like much of Barbarities at all. Let's go Morgana next.
Barbarities first, because I'm a useless Fujoshi. Then Vampires, and Emanon can eat my shorts.
Yep. Tracks for Morgana. Darfox, why don't you go next?
Vampreez, Emanon, and Barbarities. But that might change if I actually read Barbarities. But I'm the only person here that actually kind of liked Emanon. Somewhat, so.
But you still put Vampires higher.
Oh yeah, Vampreez was a good book.
Okay. I'm gonna put Barbarities first.
That's crazy.
And then Vampires and then Emanon. So I have the same ranking as Morgana. Though I did not hate Emanon.
Twins.
No, I want to read more BL. This seems like entertaining BL.
Yeah, no, BL's great. BL's fun. Honestly, I want to read more Yuri, and I'm glad that we found Vampires because like I said, I can bounce off of Yuri pretty hard.
What's the last Yuri we read? The Asamiko Nakamura one?
White Rose and Bloom, is that?
That was a long time ago.
I've also read some that you guys have read, like She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat.
Oh, right. Which I did not like because I did not like the food.
I did like it. I do like that one. And then, did you guys read Catch These Hands?
We did. We thought it was okay.
Yeah, I've only read the first one still. I liked it. I need to read more, but it's cute. I just wanted something, and we're very lucky. I feel like there's a lot more Yuri now that's a little bit more interesting than what had been available for the longest time. I felt like there was very little. I like Asamiko Nakamura. I like White Rose and Bloom a lot.
But Vampires has some substance that you can really sink your teeth into.
Also, I'm a sucker for a vampire. Let's get real. Lesbian vampires have a long and storied history, my friends.
Yep. All right, there you go. That is our discussion on these 3 titles. Our triple dip is over. Let us wrap up this episode of Manga Machinations. I want to thank Darfox, Morgana, and Seamus for joining me. Shout out to Chris from Canada, Tyler, and Lightning Bolt who are in our chat. We record our episodes live on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MangaMacTV. Make sure you subscribe to that. Go check out the first episode of Head to Head that Darfox put out. While you're at it, why don't you subscribe to our Manga Mac Watches channel? We're adding more watch-alongs over there again. If you enjoyed our podcast, make sure you subscribe to us, rate us, review us. Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever else you can find us. Check out our website, mangamachinations.com. Our Tumblr is mangamachinations.tumblr.com. If you want to support us, you can buy us a coffee. Head over to ko-fi.com/mangamac. You can also come join our Discord server. Go to discord.me/mangamac to join. We're still playing Mahjong on Mondays when we can. Let's see, you can send us emails at mangamachinations@gmail.com. And you can follow us on social media at Manga Mac Podcast. That's Manga MAC Podcast. That's for Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, Threads, everything else. If you want to follow my personal social media, follow me at Dakazu. Follow Darfox at Darfox8. Follow Morgana at MorganaRelina. And follow Seamus at Seamus2389. Remember, Seamus is spelled without an H. Alright, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us this week. Bye-bye.